Have you ever wondered why certain fears or patterns of struggles run in our family, even though we cannot pinpoint the exact reason for that? Yes, some kind of anxiety or some kind of self sabotage when everything is going well happens to us. This is all not yours, it is all coming from the genetic expression or the gene expression that has been carried over from our ancestral generations. So, in this video, I'm going to help you how to decode all this ancestral codes that has been coming out through our life, which we don't own it, but it is shaping our life in a different way. Stay tuned to know more about this in this video. Generational trauma or the ancestral wounds refers to the imprints that we are carrying in our gene because of wars, famines, or a lot of losses and discrimination that has been happening in the society for long, long time. So these are imprints that has been decoded or altering our genes epigenetically, and that is what is now expressing as patterns of behavior and struggles when we have the triggers as the certain environment that we are exposed to. Not only this, we also have some kind of social learning by observing other people, learning from other experiences that we are undergoing, and we also take all those fears and traumas inside. So, we are now going to see how we can understand all these imprints and how these are triggered and it is shown in our life. So, you may be living a life which is running for long, long ago, beyond the time when you are born, that is carrying those generational imprints of behaviors inside you through the gene. So it may be coming out as a career block, which is like a glass ceiling which you are not able to break. Sometimes it may be a relationship issues, especially related to trust issues or being unavailable, and sometimes it is also reflected as chronic illnesses or pain that is being carried over from generation after generation. Sometimes it may be also a personal experiences of being in a certain type of emotions repeatedly as a pattern, even though when everything outside seems nice and good. So these are all the few ways you can understand that you are not playing your original self, or you are playing your genetically imbibed qualities that has been carried from long, long ago. So in relationship, if our grandparents or great grandparents have lived through a life of betrayal or disappointment or sabotage or some war, then we also are prone to have the fear for people, trust issues, and our parents also would have got some kind of relationship issues which has been carried over to us also. Probably like we get into a rejection mode before even there is a rejection happening outside. It is like an expectation of rejection even before it happens, expectation of breakout, expectation of breaking up a relationship even if it is happening before. So there is always an expectation of a loss or a disappointment or a betrayal even before it happens, and because of that expectations we tend to uh, stumble upon the same emotional pattern because we are expecting it and we tend to create it. So this is how these relationship issues are being manifested by us because of the already existing trauma inside us. Even though we don't want it, the more we focus on what we don't want, automatically we tend to manifest the same thing and we end up having the same thing. So this is what is called the power of present moment, or the point of power in the present moment, as mentioned by Louis A. Because when we focus on what we don't want, our mind is shifting to, or our focus is shifting to the pain points, and automatically those pain points is that what we want as energetically, and we start attracting the same pains because we are focused on that. Since when we have these fears focused on the pains, and we tend to manifest the same thing in our life. In career also, If our generational people like a grandfather or great grandfather who were got into the trouble of money, like they lent money and it did not come back, or they lost money, they had theft, and they also feel sometimes people with lot of money has created a lot of troubles. Then they feel money is evil, because of the money they are troubling me, so I should not have money. So all these concepts get into the genetic coding, and then that imprint is playing us from not receiving the abundance that we wanted for. Same way, health also, we tend to inherit the same kind of illness, because every illness is coming from an emotional baggage. For example, as somebody is having a suffocation of people or suffocation of relationship, then they would tend to get some breathing issues, or like asthmatic problem, or some kind of bronchital issues which is being transmitted to the generation after generation, just because the previous generation has suffered an emotional trauma. So same way, lot of diseases that has been transmitted through genes, or the past generation strong emotional traumas has created the genetical imprints which has been passed through generations as diseases, and the next generation is likely to get the same disease. So it is not actually physically transmuted, it is like genetically transmuted diseases. So now coming back to how do we trace the roots and then clear our traumas. So for that, the first step is to becoming a family detective. Yes. So you have to explore your family history not as incident, it has to be like a story. So where did your grandparents live? What did they go through? And what are all the stories they carried from their ancestors to your family people? And were there a lot of migration losses, what are all the sensitive issues they have gone through in their generation? We have to collect it. Sometime by uncovering all these stories, that will bring very very great clarity, and it helps us to realize, oh, it doesn't start with me at all. So now you will notice all the emotional triggers, the recurring fears, the self-sabotage habits, and ask yourself, who else in my family is actually having similar kind of patterns? And what might this pattern have been protecting us from? Healing generational trauma is not about rejecting the past or just forgetting the past. So it's about transforming your relationship with it. So here are some great simple step which you can use to release all these trauma. Step number 1, first is to be aware of what is that trauma that you are playing and what is the trigger that is creating that trauma. So if you have some kind of fears coming whenever you use some money, or if somebody is asking money when you want to give it, or is it about the relationship when somebody is saying something you get triggered, then observe and keep it in awareness. What is that trigger and what is the reaction that you are giving? And honestly ask yourself, you really mean that uh, responsive behavior, or is it coming on your own? If you are separated from your emotions, will you come out with that emotion, or is it being played through you? So observe that, and you now make a note of all those emotions that is being played through you, and definitely you don't want to do it. And then slowly during that time use certain techniques called shake it up, like you just dance, shake it, you shake your body, or tapping, or do some breath work or vigorous exercise, so that at that moment you are releasing that trauma. So with an intention to release that trauma, do all these things or one of these things that will help you to remove that attached trauma from your body cells, and it will go away from your life. So it's basically about some movement of the body. It's called somatic work. Second one is setting boundaries to the past. That is through reframing your thoughts. So the moment you are aware, you know what you are doing is not yours and it is being played by you. You just take it and find what are all the thoughts that is playing that behavior. Now change the behavior through changing their thoughts. As if like, I see your suffering and I choose a different path. Or this isn't betrayal, but it is liberation. So sometimes your mind voice is saying repeatedly it's betrayal. Then you change it as like something, it is not betrayal, it is about liberation, that you are getting a freedom to do what you want. So by reframing the thoughts, the meaning changes and the behavior also disconnects from your body so that it is not being played by you again and again. So these two are maybe the instant relief when you are recognizing the ancestral pattern, but there are methods where you can completely rewire it and erase the past memories so that your generational traumas are not being carry forward to your next generations. So for that we need to go through a guided visualization practices of ancestral healing to remove all the negative patterns that has been stored in your neural network with a professional's help. So we also have a kind of ancestral healing package. For that you can see the description for more details. The moment you choose to heal, then you are ready to rewrite your whole lineage. Healing is a conscious decision. It's a saying, the pain stops with me, the patterns ends here. You're not just freeing yourself, you're freeing your future generation from repeating the same pattern. You're not alone in this journey. We all together get up every day with these patterns, and seeking help is the only way that we can rewrite and rewire our stories to help our generation to live freely without any ancestral wounds. The fact that you click this video itself says you have begun to heal. So until next time, be gentle with yourself because you are the turning point of your lineage.